Hey guys, this is Molly and welcome to my individual project video. So for this project, I decided to alter the way I consume food, and I did this on two levels. The first thing I decided to change is that I will be eating a vegetarian diet for the next 6 weeks. As we learned in class, we all know that the meat industry is severely unsustainable and it places a really great strain on the environment. So being vegetarian for 6 weeks and not, partaking and purchasing those things should allow me to take a personal stand against the meat industry and some of its poor practices. On the second level of this project, I will be monitoring the amount of food-related waste I produce. So as we've also learned in class, food is often packaged in non-recyclable plastics, or the plastic can seep into the food and we can ingest those microplastics, and it's really just not good for our bodies or the environment. So throughout this project, I'm going to try to minimize that amount of non-recyclable waste and look for more sustainably sourced and sustainably packaged foods. So I will be completing this project with my sister Audrey, and throughout this project we'll be monitoring our physical health, our mental health, and our total amount of food waste. So keep on watching to see how this project turns out. Okay guys, it is the end of week 1.
Hello!
I decided to bring Audrey in on this portion of the video so we could both give our feedback about how this has been going so far. So welcome back, Audrey, in another insane project for Nathan's class.
Well, it's better than filming a person in a pig suit for the last one. So
There
I'll
are actually no pigs in this project because, hello, vegetarianism. So, the first week we have started into our vegetarian diet. We've been trying a lot of food alternatives, so we don't have to completely give up some semblance of meat altogether. So, Audrey, do you want to talk about some of the foods that we've tried so far?
So we started with Incognito. We went to Walmart and we bought Incognito burgers and chicken nuggets, and the one was Morningstar Farms buffalo chicken nuggets too. The buffalo actually tasted like real chicken nuggets and was really good, but anything Incognito brand was horrible. The burgers tasted like chew toys for dogs, and the chicken nuggets tasted like cardboard. It was pretty bad.
Yeah, I think what helped the buffalo out was that there was so much seasoning that you couldn't really taste the fake chicken. It seemed like everything that we'd tried was soy protein as the meat alternative. There was one shining star from this week, and that was vegetarian meatballs. So we made tortellini with marinara sauce, and they were amazing. I think it was the Italian seasoning, but they were just they melted perfect with the food. So that was one plus. I don't know how the rest of this is gonna fare, given that most of the chicken was pretty bad. But as for food waste, this has been our control week. So we are trying to see how much we produce and normal everyday functioning, so then we can instigate changes in week 2. So there's more to come on that later. Audrey, do you have any final words for the end of week 1?
Well, it's not been too bad so far with at least the waste control, because it's been a control week, but the food has definitely been a change. But I feel like there are some alternatives that haven't really been too stressful on me to eat yet. I haven't really noticed too much of a change, so we'll see how this goes.
Okay, we got this. Let's go on to week 2. Hey guys, it's the beginning of week 2 in our individual project, and this week we're really focusing on trying to reduce our amount of non-recyclable waste. And so Audrey was just packing up for her lunch, and she came up with a really cool idea on how to store snack foods. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to her, and she can tell you what she found.
So typically our family buys individually packed snacks like this, or when we do buy a box every once in a while, I always pack it up in Ziploc bags. But since these aren't recyclable, this week I'm going to store it in a glass dish that is reusable and can be washed. And it does have a plastic lid, but it doesn't seep into the food. And it's going to reduce our overall non-recyclable waste for this week. Okay, so it is the end of week 2.
Apparently we went for a beanie theme. Don't mind us, our heads are cold. So week 2, Audrey, how are we feeling?
Cravings have set in. I've never wanted McDonald's chicken nuggets more in my life.
Yeah, I didn't realize how much of a very strong love I have for chicken products until now.
Even things that I've never really thought about. I used to like eat so many like beef and bean burritos and things. I can't even do that because it's beef.
Yeah, and when you go out to eat anywhere, like I went out with my friends this week and everything has meat, or like if it's sauce, it's meat sauce, and you're like, ugh, I don't know which to choose. But thankfully we've been able to maintain this week. If you just go with the marinara sauce, you're safe. If you just go for foods that don't have any sort of meat in them, you're okay. So food waste wise, we've actually decided to cut down on our Ziploc baggies, as we mentioned in the last section of the video, which has been pretty significant because what you use like 2 in your lunch every day, and she eats lunch 5 days a week at school, and sometimes we'll use them on the weekends too. So that was a pretty significant change and reducing some of that non-recyclable waste. Otherwise, not a lot's happened this week, guys. So we are just hanging in there, trying to fight our urges for chicken sandwiches and pepperoni and what have you. So we are just hanging in there, and fingers crossed that we can keep maintaining. So see you guys next week. Okay guys, so it is the end of week 3. Not gonna lie, the fatigue is setting in. We are both very tired of just like schoolwork in general, but also like maintaining this like pretty strict diet, which is not necessarily a bad thing for us health-wise, but it is right now on our mental health. We are starting to get a little bit wore out for sure. But for this week, we are basically just maintaining all the changes that we've implemented from the past couple weeks. We thought for this week's update we would share some of our favorite snacks, because we found that by like focusing on more on what we're purchasing, we're actually purchasing healthier things too, by just like reading the packages and just being more aware. So Audrey, do you want to share your favorite snack?
So my favorite snack has been strawberry applesauce. These are specifically Lunch Buddies brand from Aldi. Either way, doesn't matter the brand, whether it's fancy brand or cheap brand, it all is so good. I literally could eat this right now.
And the cups are actually #1 plastic, so they are recyclable, and we have been saving them throughout. My favorite snack so far has been the Nature's Bakery Fig Bar. So this one is a raspberry fig bar, and they are entirely plant-based. They are dairy-free, nut-free, vegan, and kosher. The only downside to these is that the package is foil, which means that it's non-recyclable. So unfortunately, that is a non-recyclable waste that I haven't been willing to part with, just because these are so good and they're so healthy. So we're going to continue to look for some sustainably sourced snacks throughout, and to help us continue, because who doesn't love snacks? So we will see you at our week 4 update. Okay guys, it is the end of week 4. We are all feeling a little bit rougher this week, definitely. Our mental health reports have not been the best. Audrey, do you want to explain maybe why you're not feeling so hot?
Well, I broke down and we went to Subway, and I didn't have any options that I could find that didn't have meat, so I ate a tuna sandwich. And I picked tuna because I thought it would be the least damaging to our diet so far. Because like some people were pescatarian, and fish is better than most meats because it has omega-3s and other beneficial things in it. But I did technically break our vegetarian diet, so it's not going so hot for me this week.
Yeah, and you guys have to understand, Audrey loves tuna for some reason. Like,
a lot.
Tuna sandwiches are her go-to. Tuna wraps. Anytime she can have tuna, she wants it. So it's like me with chicken. Like, she was struggling, and I do think that like if this was going to be something we tried to continue to do after this project, that for Audrey it would probably be more realistic to be a pescatarian, just because she really enjoys tuna and other fish products. So plus they can be healthy with like omega-3s and things like that, so I don't think that's entirely horrible. But we are going to try our best not to fall off the wagon again for the remainder of this project, so we are just hanging in there. See you guys next week. It is the end of week 5. Yay! Okay, so even though week 5 doesn't seem like the end, as told by the introduction of me several weeks ago, we're actually going to cut it at week 5, at the end of week 5, so week 6 can be used to make our calculations and really just analyze overall changes. So we are officially done with our food waste tracking and our vegetarianism. How are we feeling?
Well, I'm glad that it's over, but it overall had some pretty positive benefits. We lost about 3 pounds each between the two of us, and we also lost 1 inch or 1.5 inches off our waist. So overall, it made us feel lighter, a little bit healthier, and just had more energy at the end of these weeks.
Yeah, and somehow, some way, there was monetary gain from this. We actually went and recycled all of our aluminum cans because we noticed that was something that we had a lot of on our list, and it was a recyclable waste. So we actually took them to CB Recycling, which is where our dad works, and we got $1.80 out of all of our cans. So we are, rolling in it now, clearly. We also took all of our paper and cardboard and any other recyclable materials to the bins in Fairview, where we had Tony Golden come and talk to our class with the Marion County Solid Waste Authority. Those bins, those were the closest bins to us. They're actually on my way to campus every day. So we got to recycle all of those other number 1, number 2 plastics, cardboard, paper, those types of things. So we got to have that additional layer of sustainability by getting into the habit of recycling each week for these past 5 weeks, so that was really nice. My blood work, though, I feel like my vegetarianism didn't do a whole lot. I think my total cholesterol went down maybe 1 point, and for the most part everything stayed the same. Granted, pretty much everything was already in range anyway, so I didn't expect any drastic changes. So I think had I went for a longer period of time eating a vegetarian diet, there probably would have been more substantial changes, because of course those things take time. It's not like a super quick, fix everything in a few weeks type of deal, especially with blood substances. Your body has to get used to a certain way of eating. But for the most part, I think it was pretty beneficial. It was really challenging, but I'm glad we are done. So we are going to run some numbers this next week and compile our report. But thank you guys for watching and putting up with us talking and giving you updates. And here's to probably another insane project that Audrey will have to do next semester. See you guys.